In the last teaching, we introduced the seed and how it plays out on a practical level in our lives, from being new to the faith to growth, and then even beginning our own ministry or going out into the world to do the Father's work as sons and daughters. Today, we take a closer look at the soil, which is us, and how we react at different levels of faith. We are looking at Matthew 13, 1 through 23. On that day, Jesus had gone out of the house and was sitting by the sea, and large crowds gathered to him, so he got into a boat and sat down, and the whole crowd was standing on the beach. And he told them many things in parables, saying, Behold, the sower went out to sow, and he sowed. Some seeds fell beside the road, and the birds came out and ate them up. Others fell on the rocky places, where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up immediately, but they had no depth of soil. But after the sun rose, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. Others fell among the thorns, and the thorns came up and choked them out. But others fell on the good soil, and yielded a crop, some 100, some 60, and some 30 times as much. The one who has ears, let him hear. And the disciples came up and said to him, Why do you speak to them in parables? And Jesus answered them, To you it has been granted to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has been not granted. For whoever has, to him more shall be given, and he will have an abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has shall be taken away from him. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because while seeing they do not see, and while hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in their case the prophecy of Isaiah is being fulfilled, which says, You shall keep on listening, but you shall not understand, and you shall keep on looking, but shall not perceive. For the heart of this people has become dull. With their ears they scarcely hear, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with the ears, understand with their heart, and return, and I would heal them. This is a quote, and paraphrasing Jesus did from Isaiah 6, 9 through 10. And he said, Go and tell this people, keep on listening, but do not understand, and keep on looking, but do not gain knowledge. Make the hearts of this people insensitive, their hearts dull, their eyes blind, so they will not see with their eyes, or hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and return and be healed. Verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, because they see, and your ears, because they hear. For truly I say to you, that many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it. Listen to the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. This is the one sown with seed beside the road. The one sown with seed on the rocky places, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no firm root in himself, but it is only temporary, and when affliction or persecution occurs because of the word, immediately he falls away. And the one sown with seed among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word, and the anxiety of the world and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. But the one sown with seed on the good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and produces some 100, some 60, and some 30 times as much. Let's take this deeper. So verse 3,
Behold, the sower went to sow, and he sowed. Some seeds fell beside the road, and the birds came and ate them. Then verse 19. Anyone who hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. This is the one sown with the seed beside the road. This is the classic example of someone being spiritually blind and deaf. The seeds are spiritual teachings that people hear or listen to. Most people, both inside and outside the church, are like this. They hear the different parables in scripture and other stories with a spiritual or any other meaning other than literal meaning behind them, but they don't understand it. Due to them not understanding, the adversary comes in and takes away the seed from their heart. This adversary can be a spirit, it can be someone's own thoughts and denial removing the seed, or it could be a person as well.
Verse 5. Others fell on the rocky places where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up immediately because they had no depth of soil. But after the sun rose, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. Verse 20. The one sown with seed on the rocky places, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no firm root in himself, but is only temporary. And when affliction or persecution occurs because of the word, immediately he falls away. In this portion, the seeds, or spiritual teachings, land on ears that are yearning to learn, and the people are happy and joyful to hear the good information. Sadly, people in this category are not in a good place in their life to permanently receive and keep the teaching in order to grow on it. The seed isn't able to grow deeply to get them through hardships and persecution that comes because of the stuff they have learned. Thus, they fall away immediately. This is why there is an emphasis on finding a fellowship or community of believers to keep with and hang out with after coming into the gospel. By finding a good fellowship, they would be able to help you get through the persecution or hardships. After all, this goes with Galatians 6:2. In Galatians 6:2 says, "Bear each other's burdens." Verse 7. Others fell among the thorns, and the thorns came up and choked them out. Verse 22. And the one sown with seed among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word, and the anxiety of the world and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. This portion is referencing to the hardships in life and not persecution. In this category, the hearer/receiver becomes unfruitful, meaning they don't grow in their faith because of hardships, anxieties, and everything negative the world has to offer. By having a fellowship, they would be able to get through and overcome the hardships and lies the world offers, and they are able to navigate through things successfully. Verse 8. But others fell on the good soil and yielded a crop, some 100, some 60, and some 30 times as much. Verse 23. But the one sown with seed on the good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and produces some 100, some 60, and some 30 times as much. In this scenario, the seed falls on good soil, meaning the ears and eyes of the person listening is opened and they are able to receive the teaching and even understand what the teaching is saying. The amount of fruit that is produced depends on how deeply they understand it and how much they are able to take the teaching and integrate it into their life. Now, what many people don't understand or get is that this parable can be attached to nearly all aspects of life. To someone who has a moderate understanding of Scripture
and spiritual meanings, they could hear something that is too difficult for them to understand, so they would fall under the first category. If they heard something that was basically their next step, then they would fall into the fourth category with that seed. Every person will fall into each category at some or multiple points in their life. Imagine if you heard something that goes against completely of how you were raised. You began pursuing that seed, but it brought you hardship and persecution in your life due to the family and friends. And in that case, you would fall into the second category. I hope you enjoyed this short teaching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon to help improve the quality of the videos and production. Until next time. Thank you for taking the time and watching this video. I want to encourage you to like and subscribe to this channel to help boost the ratings, and prayerfully consider supporting this channel. I personally believe that God is rising up the smaller ministries to do a big job in His kingdom, and this is not possible without support from His children, us. If you would, go to my Patreon, www.patreon.com/thegothicmystic. There you'll find a variety of tiers and my website. Again, thank you for your time.